There's been some backlash about Me Too and some anxiety, as you might imagine.
So you're saying a backlash and anxiety around the hashtag Me Too movement. No, it's not a backlash, and I wouldn't say anxiety. There's been an adjustment in men's attitude, as there clearly needs to be, but it's not a backlash. There's no active movement against Me Too. It's been pretty well accepted as the new reality, and an adjustment has been required, and it's been made.
Many male managers and owners are feeling a little bit more tentative when working with and managing their female workers.
Understandably so, in my opinion. But there's, a couple of guys I know have simply hired female managers to manage the women in their workplace. Let the women fight out amongst themselves, That's the logical approach, in my opinion. Just have women sort it all out amongst themselves. Keep well out of it.
A large percentage of male managers were concerned about working with women one-on-one in the workplace. They were concerned about mentoring women. They were saying they were afraid to have meetings with women, to travel with women, and so on. Legitimate concerns, understandably so. Mentoring women is obviously out of the question. There's no way back on that one, I think. It's not going to happen. Women can mentor each other, and men mentor each other, but one-on-one with women is just not acceptable anymore. The meetings with women, obviously you're going to avoid the one-on-one meeting, and that's easy to achieve, let's face it. But there's also recording the meeting, as if it does have to be a confidential one-on-one meeting with a woman. You can record the meeting with or without her consent. It could just be a security camera in the corner recording the activity in the room, just as a security measure. Doesn't have to be a webcam kind of situation, and it's probably actually better off that it's just some sort of subtle recording going on, just so that the woman doesn't feel uncomfortable or anything like that. There's ways around it. Traveling, the guys I know who travel with women, they have rooms on different floors of the hotels, and it's just like they'll go to the meeting with the client, and there might be a requirement to wine and dine the client, and the guys I know, they know the most of the restaurateurs, the restaurant owners. They frequent these restaurants. The restaurant owners know them. They'll set them up with the appropriate dining facilities, for how many guests are coming, and you're sitting down at the table. The guys I know won't drink with the women. They'll drink with male clients, not with female clients. And then at the end of the day, you're in your room on a separate floor. And so you can take a different lift or a different elevator to the floor. You don't have to be in close proximity at all. And COVID's helped with that as well. There's ways around the travel issue, the meeting issue, but as far as mentoring goes, nah. No way.
It indicates that there are anxieties and fears that we need to address. And in the case of men being worried about false accusations of sexual harassment, that may not be based in reality. The FBI, for example, has produced research that shows that only 2% of sexual assault claims turn out to be false. And that's actually no higher than any other type of crime.
Yeah, so there's a nifty little piece of bait and switch for you. Men may be worried about false sexual harassment allegations being made against them, and rightly so. It's nothing for a woman to make an accusation like that, and it could just be you've looked at her for too long, and she's felt uncomfortable, and therefore it's sexual harassment. And the allegation gets made to the public, and the man's condemned. He doesn't have the right of reply. Even if he does reply, his reputation's fucked. And then so that's the first bit of the bait and switch, is the false sexual harassment allegation. And then she said the FBI has produced a report where there's incidents of sexual assault or false sexual assault allegations 2% of the time. So there's a big difference between sexual harassment allegations and sexual assault allegations. They're completely different. And so she's making out that men are worried for no reason. And that's just rubbish, because the allegation just needs to be made, and the man's he's lost his basic legal rights of innocence until proven guilty, and that's the truth. Like, that's what is a man going to do? He's going to protect himself and his business and his family life and everything else. So no, don't bother with the idea that this is just being paranoid. It's not.
So men may be panicking over something that really isn't supported by the data that we have. And in fact, organizations where women are mentored and treated well and able to be promoted to positions of authority actually tend to outperform those where they don't.
So interesting language that she's using here, maybe, could be, might be. And then she's saying that women, when they're mentored and given positions of authority, make the businesses run better. A citation, please. Like, where's the actual evidence of that happening? And the thing is, you'd never know, would you? How do you know that a woman is outperforming a man in terms of making money for a business? You don't. You can't measure it, because you've got nothing to compare it against. If you're promoting women up the ladder and you've only just started the business up, she's first in the position, you got nothing to compare it against. So it feels good, and she'll be applauded for holding the line on the narrative that women have got something positive to contribute to workplace just because they've got ovaries. It's citation required on that particular point, I think.
I think all guys know how to behave. When you're with a female worker, you talk about business. You keep things professional. There's a clear line about what your behavior should be. And in fact, the behavior that you have around female workers really shouldn't be any different than the behavior that you have around male workers.
It is different. Men know how to behave. But a male behaviour around women is different to male behaviour around men, and it has to be in the workplace. It has to be, because the women are policing your behaviour. Make no mistake about that. The women are looking for the evidence of a non-PC culture,
in the workplace. They demand special treatment in the workplace. And like, I'm talking every single workplace I know. Once the women get involved with it, there's got to be all kinds of adjustments made to allow them to work, and it's not entirely productive work most of the time. They have cliques and fights and carry on amongst themselves. So and so doesn't like one woman this week, and she doesn't like the other woman the next week. It is a mess, and they demand these special requirements for family commitments, and they've got to start at certain times and end at certain. It's never ending. So yeah, as a man, and any man knows this in the workplace, that when you're alone with your male colleagues, your behaviour is completely different to when a woman comes into range. Like, I've had many experiences where it's just been the guys sitting around talking, a woman comes within earshot, and the conversation either stops or the phones get pulled out and we start looking at our screens or whatever, and like, no one wants to say anything that could be misconstrued in any way around a woman at all in the workplace. So yes, behaviour between men and women is necessarily different.
And I say this to my fellow guys that are running businesses or managing people. Wake up. It's 2020. You know how to behave. This should be no different than when you're going out with a workmate as well, regardless of age. If you're avoiding working with a potential female colleague just because she's female, and just because you're concerned about how your behavior might be, you not only hurt yourself, but you're hurting your organization as well.
Wake up. It's current year. If you're going out with a work colleague of any age, it should be no different. And you're potentially missing out, and your organisation is missing out as well. Honestly, that's just rubbish. Okay, it's not about the behaviour, right? Men know how to behave. It's about the allegation. It's about the allegation getting made on whatever grounds. It doesn't matter if there's grounds for the allegation or not. The allegation can be made whether or not there are grounds. Okay, this ridiculous idea that you can just trust women to be nice, gentle people when there's money at stake is you have rocks in your fucking head. No, okay, you don't socialise with women, and if you do, you make sure there's a trusted third party present. It's as simple as that. Those are the rules. They call them the Pence rule, and it's for good reason. Mike Pence didn't get up to be the vice president of the US because he's a fucking idiot. All right, he got there because he's got his head screwed on straight, and he lives by his own rules, the Pence rule, and there's good grounds and good reason for him to do so. It's as simple as that. The women have created this Me Too hashtag. They've weaponized it against men, and it denies men their basic legal rights to fair trial and presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law. That is the sole reason that the men have had to adjust to this Me Too crap. And if the women don't like it, tough fucking shit. You've put yourselves in that spot, and there's no sympathy at all from a MGTOW.
Even worse than that, they may be venturing into the area of unlawful activity, because if you're refusing to have meetings, for example, with women because they are women, that's getting into violations of the law. You have to treat employees equally, no matter what their gender or their race or their sex is. The backlash doesn't mean that the goals of Me Too are wrong. It just means that we're dealing with some very entrenched social and cultural attitudes that it's going to take some time to unpack.
Yeah, okay, so we've had the carrot. Come on, man, just step up. Everything will be all right. And now we've got the stick. You could well be breaking the law if you're refusing to hold meetings with female work colleagues. Now, because they're female. Now, first of all, prove it, all right? Prove that that's happening. And second of all, meetings can be held with female work colleagues as long as there is a third party present or the meeting is videotaped, digitally recorded, so that the man can protect himself against false allegations, because women make false allegations. We're not saying all women, we're not saying the allegations are false all the time. It's just that you're asking a man to not just trust a woman with his reputation, but the reputation of his organisation. And if any man's naive enough to fall into that trap, then he deserves everything he fucking gets, because you've got to protect yourself against all forms of business impropriety, legitimate or otherwise. And the allegation is all that it takes, and everybody knows this. And even if the allegations are proven false, the mud sticks and the business is hurt, and the man's reputation is sullied. And it's, what are you going to do? Legislate against that? Well, you can't. So, yeah, women have put themselves in this position, and now they've got to wear it. And it's tough fucking shit. No sympathy. There's no woman out there clamouring to pull down the hashtag #MeToo on Twitter. There's no woman out there saying, look, this isn't fair. We've got to get rid of this absolute indictment on the rights of men worldwide. I mean, there's no woman at all saying that. And this woman here is not even saying it. She's saying you've got to live with it or you'll be punished. Well, MGTOW don't have to live with it. Simps might get punished or might live with it. Who knows? Who cares? But as far as I'm concerned, women brought this on themselves, and that's the end of it.
Only 6 states actually have mandatory sexual harassment training protocols for companies and organizations. Really, we have not gone far enough, and we're just beginning to untangle some of the legal structures that have made it very difficult for people to report sexual harassment, things like non-disclosure agreements or forced arbitration. It's going to take some time to get a new legal framework. If women make progress on Me Too, it's going to make the workplace feel like a safer and more respectful and productive environment for everybody.
No, it's not. And the reason I say it's not going to be a safe and productive environment for everybody is because of what she's just said. If women, it's easier for women to bring sexual harassment cases to light. In other words, they get rid of the disclosure rules and whatnot. In Australia, the women can just go straight to the police and lay charges again in sexual harassment cases. But the thing is, it's this. I've been to these fucking workshops on sexual harassment, right? The sexual harassment laws are gender neutral. It's not about women feeling safe in the workplace. Women are under these laws themselves. But these laws are applicable to women. So if a man is feeling sexually harassed in the workplace, he is entitled to go and seek retribution or justice, if you like. As in all jurisdictions, they can't discriminate on gender for sexual harassment laws, right? So they're applicable to men too.
You don't see any of that in any of this narrative. This narrative is male perpetrator, female victim. And like, men have just got to say, look, this woman is wearing makeup in the workplace, and that's making me feel uncomfortable because makeup is just sexual display. I find this woman's blouse, the cut of her blouse is too low, it's too revealing, not appropriate for the workplace. I feel harassed. She needs to, I need compensation. It's just, it's not about making the workplace safer and more productive. It's about destroying the fucking workplace. Like, thank God COVID came along and everyone works from home. Honestly, it's just fucking ridiculous that these people think that any of this is going to lead to a better outcome for anyone. It's just, like the French have got a really good way of dealing with that, and this is a superior sexually harassing us inferior work colleagues. So it's about hierarchy and power. So your boss can't put it on you as a subordinate, male or female, and the rest of it is just normal male-female interaction in the workplace. You can't, if you're feeling harassed by your colleague, you've got to sort it out with him. You can't go to anyone. It's not a legal case. Something to be said for that. But this is like just opening the gates to litigation. All this stuff. There's no way that you're going to have a safe and productive work environment when you've got all of this fucking rubbish going on. It's like, where are these people coming from?
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.